Detroit has a certain reputation for its grit. We know that it hasn't always been the safest place to live.
Detroit police investigating after a 15-year-old is shot.
Detroit police are investigating a deadly shooting involving 3 children.
Breaking news on I-75, where gun violence on the freeway sends 2 children to the hospital.
The city at one point known all around the world for its dangerous crime is actually making a turnaround. According to Detroit's police department, homicides have been going down with a decrease of about 27% compared to 2023. In fact, the city ended the year of 2023 with the fewest homicides it's had in about 57 years. There's also been a 45% decrease in carjackings and then a 23% decrease in non-fatal shootings compared to stats from the previous year. But why? Part of the reason is what's called community policing, with local organizations stepping up to prevent crimes in their own neighborhoods. Now, I know that you might be a little skeptical, as a lot of people are. According to our survey on clickondetroit.com with 61 responses, 48% of people don't even believe the concept is something that can work. But thanks to a new program that's called Shot Stopper, violence in the most dangerous parts of the city is on a downward trend.
If we keep this strategy of strong law enforcement and community prevention and do this year after year, we're going to get to the city that we all want to see.
Mayor Mike Duggan on the reduction in crime partly because of the partnership between police and community activists. In total, 6 groups have been doing their part to reduce and prevent violence. For this piece, we're specifically talking about New Era Detroit, also known as the New Era Community Connection, a grassroots organization that's really making a difference.
They're making the streets more safer.
We've been consistent in doing this work for the past 10 years, man, and we've been intentional on making sure that our communities are put in a place to where we able to see some sort of elevation.
Zeke Williams is the founder and president of New Era Detroit, who is inspired to spark change for the youth.
We know a 2-year-old child and a 9-year-old child were both shot.
The 15-year-old tells police that he and someone else were simply walking when somebody drove up and started shooting at them.
You see time after time, kids being hit by stray bullets or being shot or women being abducted and being raped. And, we can't just sit back and say like, oh, that's messed up. What does that show the next generation of kids?
New Era Detroit actively tries to make sure neighborhoods are safe in any way they can, including patrolling themselves to make sure there's no criminal activity going on.
Community policing is a real thing. Being able to handle issues, that may not be, cause for police to come out and get involved is extremely important. Putting ourselves in a position to where we done had our guys out and about moving around and de-escalated some things that could have turned, a certain way.
Sometimes, unfortunately, there's not a chance for prevention. Here's video of New Era Detroit on guard after a woman was killed in a carjacking near a daycare.
That's something that we pride ourselves on, being an organization that people can trust out in the community, and making sure that we stand on the business of our people enough to say that we care about you enough to where we gonna look at our situations and handle them accordingly.
Their official area on the map at one point was the most violent and what's a combination of District 2 and 7 in the city.
You heard a lot of shooting.
But that's not the case so much anymore.
With the heat map, those are homicides and non-fatal shootings, and we wanted to ensure that they were deployed to the areas where it was the most gun violence. It looks like they're gonna roughly have like a 50% reduction. It's just really lifting our whole city up.
Deputy Mayor Todd Bettison is the creator of the Shot Stopper program, who saw the potential change that New Era Detroit could make years ago.
I met Zeke Williams back in 2015. Like I said, he was doing it just out of the goodness of his heart, along with his organization. And so I've called on them many, many times before when I was with the police department, and now being deputy mayor with the city of Detroit and with American Rescue Plan Ag dollars, dedicating funding to CVI, it's only really enhanced and helped their organization to be able to do, like I said, more good work and push peace.
The deputy mayor is proud the city and federal government has also been able to help assist these groups with the tools that they need to be successful.
It feels great, to have a concept in your head and really with community violence intervention, believing in it I already knew that it worked from my years with the police department and having called community members, but being able to chance to have funding to be able to allocate additional resources to them so they could do more of the good work that I knew that they could do.
Another element of the work New Era Detroit does is community service, not just once in a while, but year-round. Right now, the focus is giving the kids something to do while they're out of school.
We pass out resources, valuable, tangible resources. We do toys too for the kids, so all summer long, we got toys in the back of a big old box truck, and basketballs, footballs, jump ropes, hula hoops. Getting kids back outside is extremely important to us.
Here at the group's building on Detroit's west side, people are able to come get assistance for the many things that they need. You can also get a clear glimpse of the positive work that's being done on display. One issue, however, is that the group can't be everywhere, yet that doesn't stop them from trying.
We move around the country a lot. One thing that we know is that the issues that we deal with in Detroit are the same issues they deal with in Chicago, same issues they deal with in LA, Houston, Birmingham, New Orleans, Philly, all of these different places and where black communities exist, we deal with the exact same issues, whether it be systematically or through ourselves.
And thanks to a new bus, the wingspan of the group's reach is expanding to cities all across the nation that may be facing problems similar to those in Detroit. The hope and goal is for the organization to really make a change all over the country.
It's always an honor to have people on board, but our goal is to make sure that we got the people of the community on board and make sure that we're doing right by the people in the community.
They're being ultra successful, in my opinion, saving lives. And you can't even put a value on the price of even one life, but I know that they're saving more than one.
Just imagine how many other places can have the same effect if more people in the community stepped up in a comparable fashion. We have to be the ones making the change that we want to see.
There is a lot to discuss here, and we'd like to hear your opinions. Drop a comment below and make sure you hit subscribe to stay up to date with Solutionaries.